Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the SHOWUP podcast. You're about to indulge into an incredibly value-packed and wisdom-filled episode. We had the pleasure of sitting down with Bas Bults. Bas, also known as Mr. Stoic, is the co-founder of LifeLab, a performance coaching platform for high-level entrepreneurs who he helps level up through the principles of Stoicism. Bas is an absolute machine and role model when it comes to business, health, wealth, relationships, and truly embodies what it means to live up to your fullest potential, something we all aspire to. We touched on so much in this episode. However, some of my personal highlights are the story of how he bounced back from a major life setback, namely his apartment burning down, how to implement Stoicism in your own daily life, sleep optimization, the origins and history behind Stoicism, his own personal journey into the philosophy and how it changed his life for the better, and some of the misconceptions of Stoicism, and so much more. Jake and I thoroughly enjoyed sitting down with Bas. He's just a fountain of positivity and wisdom, so we hope you enjoy the conversation as much as we did. Enjoy.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 3 of the Show Podcast. Today, Jake and I are joined by none other than Bas Bults.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm excited.
Bas is a unit of a Dutchman who's built a couple of businesses in the past, and who, when he isn't coaching people and high performers through the principles of Stoicism, people can find you at the Barceloneta beach, either at the calisthenics park or swimming between the buoys.
Definitely every Saturday morning.
Every Saturday morning.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice, man. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited for today's talk.
Yeah, same. You on Instagram, in your bio, it says Mr. Stoic.
Correct.
So I don't really want to cut and waste any time. How did you get into that flow of philosophy?
How I became Mr. Stoic, basically.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
so
origin
Mr.
story.
Stoic was a name that was actually given to me by friends. They just started to call me Mr. Stoic. And then I thought, like, it's quite unique, it's quite catchy. People remember it. Let's just keep it as a name. So for me, Stoicism really started, I think, roughly 2019. I think I started getting into Stoicism. I've been in personal development for over 10 years, trying all different kind of sports, trying all different kind of things, trying to learn about sleep, my brain, just personal development in general. Then I was in a more like darker period of life, like 1.5 years. I was having a really, really hard time. And it was Stoicism that got me out of this hard time. So I let go of all my habits. I let go of all my healthy beliefs and mindsets. Let go of my friends, got fat again, lost my muscle. So I was really down bad. And then I stumbled upon a book, actually. It's called The Obstacle is the Way, which is basically stating like this period in your life is your way forward. And it caught my interest and I started reading it. And that was actually what got me out of that darker period and drew me into Stoicism. And it teach me just basically at that moment, it teach me just that there was actually no one coming to change things for you, no one coming to save you. It's just you and your own responsibilities. And that only action is the thing that moves you forward. That was the key thing in the book. And I started taking just small steps, and it took maybe a year. And then I was back, like flowing again. And since then, I never let go of Stoicism as a tool to move forward, to reshape my life, to, get things done, basically.
Beautiful. So
Powerful.
you got into it in 2019, so that's
I think
right
2018, 2019, something.
right before Corona. Do you feel like it helped you go through the whole lockdown and the whole fucking global shutdown?
Oh man, yes, massively, because the learning curve of Stoicism it's quite different than other things. When you start implementing Stoicism in your life, you make massive progress. So in a month, or in 3 months, or 6 months, you can book like maybe 70% of all the progress, and then it starts to slow down, and then you need years of mastery. But I learned in months. I learned to really get more control of my life and how to deal with external things. And then COVID came as one big external thing that a lot of people were putting onto themselves, making an internal problem. And I was not doing that. So I was just distanciating myself from COVID from the beginning. And it really was super powerful as a tool to to deal with COVID. Yeah.
What were some of the steps that you took to be able to start to implement a different lifestyle than the majority of the population of the world fell into?
I think it's analyzing your thoughts and analyzing your mind. So the key thing is, and that has to do with like COVID is a good example, but also your results in life and the way you experience your emotions. They're often based on your opinion about things. Actually, they're always based on your opinion about things, right? So something happens, and in your mind, you have an opinion, and that creates how you experience the event. The event is just something happening. You're the only one telling yourself what it means to you. Is this a hard period, or is it just a challenge, maybe? And is a challenge exciting? And it could be the same event. So we could be experiencing the same events in a totally different way. So it starts with analyzing your thought process. And that actually requires to go deeper to analyze yourself. So journaling, for example, is a great way to start. You can just start with, my favorite question is, in the morning, what can I do better today than I did yesterday? You find a mistake or something you wanted to do differently, and then you find your thought process as well. And it's then to change that thought process, maybe that day, or the next day, the next week, or the next month, doesn't matter. That creates you into this track of focusing on what's in your control and focusing on what you think about external things.
And for people that have never heard of Stoicism, how would you describe it? What's the Stoicism 101 for dummies?
Oh, for dummies, man, for me, I call it the cheat codes of life. For me, it's if you master Stoicism, you're on another level in terms of experiencing the world. So that's still quite complex, but it's basically rules how to live a good life. So it's books filled with rules or suggestions on how you could experience your internal reality, but also external reality. So it was basically just a handbook of how to live a good life.
Do you know anything about the history of Stoicism? I know that Marcus Aurelius
Yes, for
and
sure.
Epictetus is like names that pop up all the time, Seneca, but I had no idea how it
I've
got
had
started.
meditations on my bedside table for the last 7 months, and I reckon I've read about 10 pages.
This is what happens to everyone, and we can get more into that why that happens. It's a supernatural thing, happened to me as well. But Stoicism was founded because of an obstacle. So the nature of Stoicism is hidden in overcoming something that's what others perceive as an extreme obstacle. So it was Zeno, this guy, he was a super successful merchant. He was selling purple dye. At that time, people of royalty and people of high standards were wearing purple. Yeah, and only they were allowed to wear purple. So he was a successful merchant importing this purple dye into Athens. And he got into a shipwreck. And he lost everything. So it was a family business. He took everything on the ship and he lost everything. So he washed up in Athens, where philosophy was flowing at that time. So he washed up in Athens, coming like minutes ago. He was a successful merchant. He was a successful man. Big success, big status. Yeah. And then minutes later, he washes up in Athens, probably naked, right? He washes up in Athens. Nobody knows him. Probably trouble speaking their language, maybe. And he had nothing. He had nothing and no way to go back as well. And that's in that period is when he started to practice philosophy. He wanted to be like Socrates. And he started to practice philosophy, but he felt a bit disaligned with a lot of visions of the philosophies at that time. So he founded his own philosophy. And that's where Stoicism started in that event of something where he didn't have any control of, but found a way to turn it into something he could control. And that's super powerful.
Do you think with the majority of the times within life that you need a hard reset to be able to then restructure your life from the ground up again?
Oh man, I love hard resets. Yeah. I'm a big fan of hard resets. Let things go wrong. And that's the matter of how you look at things. Because we say things go wrong, but if it helps you move forward, is it a wrong thing? So it's the way you perceive these things. And you need these hard resets. You need to be down.
You need to hit the bottom before you can make your way back up.
Yeah. It's easier coming back up from the bottom usually than it is from the middle ground.
Yep.
So appreciate hitting bottoms.
But
Love hitting bottoms.
But also hitting the bottom also makes you realize that there's no lower that you can go except for back up.
Yeah.
Rock bottom is a fantastic foundation to build upon.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then maybe you could even go through the ceiling right? Maybe there's even a next level below. But it's exciting to find your limits, and it's exciting to know what you're capable of actually. So the Stoics, in everything they go next level. So it starts with, how do you perceive these things? So we've now gone over how you've can change your perspective from it's an obstacle or it's a struggle or it's something wrong to it's an opportunity, right? Step one. Then there's step two, where the Stoics basically say people that didn't experience any hardships, they're super pitiful because they can never experience or find out who they're truly capable of becoming. So now we look at people that have an easy life as the victim, right? So that's the next level in the step. So there's always levels and more advanced levels.
You mentioned that now you're building your fifth business? I think it's fourth, fifth?
Fourth business, I think.
It's called Life Lab.
Correct.
And you coach people, high performers, through life, through the principles of Stoicism. What do you, when someone comes into that group, course, community, what are the first couple things that you want to analyze and go through with a fine-tooth comb to then tackle those things? What are the first couple things that you look at? Amazing question.
Yes, like first of all, I don't really like this word or label of coaching. I look at myself more as I try not to label myself, but basically I don't try to tell people what they have to do. I want them to experience for themselves and try their own stuff.
So you're a guide.
More like a guide, yeah. And I always only teach what I learned myself. So if I don't know anything much about the topic, I just keep my mouth shut. So basically what we're doing with Life Lab, basically the name says it, and it's what ingredients you put into life will determine the outcome you get. So it's Life Laboratorium, right? You have this formula, you put in all your ingredients, the things you're doing, binge eating, watching television, never moving your body. What do you get? A miserable life.
A concoction of nothing.
Exactly.
Bubbling black mess.
Bubbling black.
Looks cool,
Yeah.
but it's not going to taste good when you drink it.
It's a miserable life. Yeah. So you change these ingredients. And ingredients are not only things you're doing practically, it's also what you're consuming. And consuming is not only food, consuming is also your thoughts and the people you surround yourself with. So it's basically everything. And then if you start to put in different ingredients, which a lot of people, majority of people think they have no control over, you actually have control over. You can just start living a different life and you get a different outcome. So we help people get to a life they desire. So that's always my starting point when working with people is we do a really big live scan. It's like a 1.5, 2.5 hour deep conversation where I try to get a hold of, with interesting questions, I try to get a hold of what is their current position in life, how does their unconscious mind works, what are their answers to certain questions, automatic answers, and then we find what's the first steps to work on. And based on that massive scan, we just start experimenting and implementing with things.
When I was going through your website, it really dawned on me that, and I feel like the best products and services are always built by people that feel like they needed or wanted that exact product or service.
Yeah.
Is this kind of like the thing that you felt like you wanted back in the day?
Oh man, it has changed my life. And that's why I'm saying I'm not a coach, more like I tell what I teach. It has changed my life. And I started to put together what has changed my life into a program, into something that's taught. And I think for a lot of people that want to start their business or that are starting their business, a massive tip is people often try to find the next new thing, or they try to find or create the best new product. What are actually the best products are the products that worked for you.
They've been tried and tested.
Yeah. So if something worked for you, you can sell it. You can offer it. So, and that's what we're doing with Life Lab. Like, we're not only teaching Stoicism, but we're also teaching high performance. No one else is doing this in this combination, but it's changing your mind and the way you perceive life and your reality. And then it's also changing your actions to a really high standard, like perform like a top high performer. And these two combined make you basically like a physically and mentally unbreakable human being.
Well, just first of all, the imagery of both your partner's name.
Yeah, Yorick.
Yorick. He's also a machine.
Yeah. He's a massive machine. Yeah, he's a unit.
So just the initial photography of those two guys.
He's a wardrobe with
the
legs.
Majority of people either in or away.
Yeah. And obviously, this is to an extreme in his sense, body wise.
Yeah.
You could also just be super. You could be as beast as him in the mind, and that's invisible to people.
That's powerful. How? Because I feel like it often takes two or more to tango, and I feel like on the website it looked like you met your match and great partner when it comes to this. How did you guys meet? How did that whole thing, friendship, business partnership, unfold?
Yeah, that's a long story actually. I started going to the gym was like maybe 9 or 10 years ago. I was overweight when going to the gym, lost 20 kilograms, started to get fit. Been always a bit bullied because of my weight and wanted to get rid of that excess weight.
How old are you right now? Sorry.
27.
Okay.
So I started losing weight at about 15, looking into nutrition, health, so more than 12 years of like, let's say personal development, but like as really going to the gym, probably about 10 years, building my body. So that's where I met him. We were just building our bodies and always at the same similar time. And we started to train together. And then an old friend of mine asked if they were saying like, guys, you're making massive progress. Can you maybe help me with a nutrition plan or a training plan? That was our first business called Wider Fitness. So basically like really like wider, literally get wider.
Let's get wider.
Yeah, it's amazing. Only thing we were doing
Only do pull-ups.
then, yeah, it was just getting wider and getting bigger. And it was all about aesthetics. And
It's a good place to start.
it's a perfect place to start because you learn discipline. You learn showing up when everyone's going out. You learn putting in work when you're really not feeling like putting in the work. So everyone, I highly recommend everyone, if you're not training your body or challenging yourself in a way, you should. Mandatory. So that's where we met. And we started building that business together, helped like 150 people change their life. Really good results because, again, we were selling what we were doing for ourselves. And we're just applying it to them and changing it to their lives. Then I got bored of telling people how much weight I could lift, and I needed some more depth. So we started a marketing company, and we started helping people advertise. And I got bored again. So, and then I was thinking, okay, what is it I'm actually doing? What is it I'm actually interested in? And that's the thing I'm doing right now. Start to look at my personal life. What is the things I'm really good at? Are the things I'm really passionate about? Can I turn that into a product?
Absolutely beautiful. I feel like you're smashing it. How long has Life Lab been a thing?
Between 1.5 and 2 years now.
Okay.
Something, yeah.
Solid, man. And through these coaching calls, I also saw on the website that you do in-person events and I don't want to call them challenges, but
They're challenging.
community activities of 30 days of just hard work or a fitness challenge, and then also 60 days of Stoic monk mode.
Yeah.
Which I want to know what that is.
That's really cool. So when you look at a monk, like the way he lives, how does a monk live?
He doesn't speak. He doesn't drink.
Yeah.
He eats really clean, normally vegetarian foods,
Yeah.
I'm assuming, and meditates every day, reads books, and tries to be as conscious as possible.
Yeah. So for us, that's super restrictive, right?
Yeah, for
Very.
sure.
What are the benefits of living like a monk?
You focus on yourself.
Being super, super focused.
Very present.
So, and most of us are just weak, and we go left when our emotions tell us to go left. We watch TV when we want to watch TV. We eat fast food. We can just deliver it to our door, and it's all these distractions are coming from everywhere. And doing a monk mode is basically finding, being vulnerable and honest about yourself. What are my disturbances, right? And this is not only external disturbances, but also internal. Maybe I'm getting angry fast. Maybe I have the urge to have sex all the time or to watch porn. Or, there's so many disturbances we experience in this age for sure. And it's finding these disturbances, so you have to be honest there first, and then it's limiting yourself from these disturbances for like maybe a period of 30 days or 60 days. 60 days is quite challenging. And then you add in some things you want to be focusing on. So it's healthy food, working out, and in that case, it's usually just business. But you can, if you do 30 days of limiting, restricting yourself from all these things and focusing on, let's say, for example, changing your body, you can be ripped and beast in like 30 days.
I think one of the first times that we had a conversation and why you're now on this show was because we met through, I think it was SHOWUP, no?
I think it was.
You
yeah.
come through SHOWUP, we had a
Yeah.
connection through other communities in Barcelona.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had a conversation. I was like, this guy's got something. I want to go and find out a little bit more. And we went to the beach and we started having a workout at the beach gym. And at this stage, I hadn't been working out that much. And Bas completely destroyed me.
And we were taking it easy.
Yeah, we were taking it easy. Yeah. And I remember I couldn't hardly move my arms for like a couple of days afterwards. I didn't tell him this.
Yeah, you didn't.
But we spoke
good to know.
about the ability to be able to change your life very fast.
Yeah.
And we actually got to the point where it was 4 weeks.
Yeah.
If you can do something for 4 weeks consistently and break that pattern, I actually think it's probably more closer to 6 if you.
We apply 3 months.
Yeah.
But we apply 3 months to like really completely change who you are. And I'm not talking about shoulder width.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about size. I'm not talking about monetary. I'm talking about how you view yourself, identity, your position in the world. Everything you can think of, you can radically change it in like 90 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you put in the work.
And so after I had this conversation with Bas, I started the 100-day workout challenge with a bunch of mates all around the world.
Amazing.
And we did 100 days.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the last time I saw you was roughly after these 100 days.
Yeah.
I saw you working out the last time we meet at the
Trying to
bars.
do handstands.
I said, bro, you're becoming buffed.
Right,
right?
it was
Your arms are growing.
You take inspiration from people who are leading the charge, and you're one of them.
Yeah.
And it's just funny how quickly everything starts to flow. Productivity in life, work, your relationships, whatever it is, everything can be streamlined if you put the effort and the work in.
Yeah.
On yourself.
Yeah. But it starts with this belief. And a lot of people, they don't have the resources, they don't have the environment, they don't have the knowledge to get to this belief. A lot of people are stuck in a certain position.
What would you, because a lot of people struggle with limiting beliefs about themselves.
Yeah.
How would you advise them to view that and change their perspective in that regard?
Limits are always created by your mind. So reassess what your limits are. Look at your limits. They're always created by your mind. Other people are doing stuff on a way different level. So if you experience something as hard, if you experience something as a limit, it's always created by your mind. So that's the core of Stoicism, is how do you talk to yourself? How do you talk to others? What are your thoughts? Where are they coming from? And changing these thoughts. So knowing that it's possible, what we discussed, like in 90 days, in 90 days I can change myself. Interesting. Then what does that mean for me? Like, what do I want to change and what do I have to do to change? So it's getting this belief maybe from someone or reading it somewhere. Now you might be listening and hearing, wow, I can change my whole life in 90 days. I truly believe this because Jake is saying it, he's done it. Bas is saying it, he's done it. I might as well be able to do it. So what's then the actionable required steps? And then you've got it.
Is it maybe the possibility of not wanting to let certain things go out of their lives?
For sure.
And in most cases, it's probably drinking and social events and so forth, where they feel like if they lose that, then they're going to lose their friendship group, their connection to certain people.
Yeah.
But the real question is, do you really need that to then focus and be a better version of yourself?
Yeah, and usually what I really like is you can have both.
Yeah.
Right? I can go out and drink. But I've built such a tremendous amount of self-control over time. I can go out, drink. After 3 drinks, feel this alcohol start to kick in. Switch to non-alcoholic drinks. People still offering me drinks. They grab me by the shoulder. Come on, drink. You just here, No, I'm not drinking. So I'm there having fun, taking 3 drinks, going home a little bit earlier than the rest. And the next day I'm fresh, working out.
Get up, go to the beach gym.
So I have it
flex,
all,
bang.
right?
Get some people
so
take
life
some
is
videos.
life is way better. You can have it all if you learn how to control yourself. Willpower, yeah, and that's just step by step. You gain that.
To go back on the limiting beliefs, my housemate and good friend of ours, Eden, is also very much into Stoicism, and he does this thing
Eden.
called,
Yeah.
he's the man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Eden.
Shout out to Eden.
And he does this thing that he calls reprogramming,
Yeah.
which is, I feel like his way of not only dealing with limiting beliefs, but also other things. And he just journals the thoughts that he wants to ingrain to
Yeah.
rewrite his hardwiring,
He talks
his
about
software.
He talks about the brain being like a computer program,
It's a computer.
and that
Yeah.
if you consistently put that input in over time, it will spit that answer out.
Yeah, for sure.
Are there, so that's journaling in like the reprogramming sense, of Eden's reprogramming sense. Are there other practices that people can do for these limiting beliefs or for other blocking factors that they might be experiencing?
Yeah, for sure. Before I get into that, I would like to address a little bit more about Eden's thing, because what he's saying is so super powerful, and there's more to it people probably don't realize, is you can change the computer, right? You can change the complete computer. So your body, some things you're doing, some habits, right? You might be able to build some new habits. That's changing the computer, right? But it's changing the software. It's like really reprogramming the software, your thoughts, how you think about things. That's going to make the real progress over the long term. So often people misunderstand that just changing the computer, changing the outer layer, the skin, they don't understand why it's not giving them the results they desire, because you have to dive deeper on a deeper level. And yeah, that reprogramming really takes time. So that's also what we're doing. We try to reprogram the mind, try to reprogram people in how they respond to situations, how they respond to things. So practical example, before I got into Stoicism, when something happened, I was frustrated, right? I was frustrated, and I just needed some time for myself, maybe a little bit angry, right? Now, a couple of years fast forward, when something happens, I'm super excited to explore the challenge, to find what can I learn from this. So it's completely reprogramming your mind. So to reprogram your mind and your limiting beliefs, as Eden is also saying, you need to be aware of what is it you're thinking, how are you experiencing things, what is your opinion about things. So journaling is one of the greatest ways, I think, to do that, because when you journal, you force yourself to write something down, to think about it, to analyze it, instead of it just being a thought. So you make it physical.
And
so
that was, and that was also kind of what Meditations was by Marcus Aurelius, no? It was letters to himself. It was journaling.
Correct, and it's
exactly
amazing. It was never supposed to be released.
Yeah.
And that's the reason it's nice that you're making this bridge, because that's the reason you're not reading it, because you're not understanding it properly. It doesn't make any sense for your brain right now, because you have to first research Stoic philosophy. You have to first research the words he's using, and to put yourself in his shoes, what these words were meaning at that time. The words have a completely different meaning at that time. It's lost in translation. So you first have to have more knowledge about the subject to understand what he means. So if the Stoics write about nature with a capital letter N, we would think about plants in the forest. They're talking about God or fate, right? So if they talk about nature, if you're just reading it and you have no clue what nature means for them, you're
missing the point.
You're missing the point. So people, they take Marcus Aurelius' Meditations,
And they go, I can read this, I'm going to become a Stoic.
It is a bad book. First of all, it's not a book. It's just a journal for himself, which was extremely powerful, what the man was thinking and how he was handling situations. And second of all,
For all who don't know who Marcus Aurelius is, he was one of the greatest leaders of the Roman Empire of all time.
Yeah. And at that time, Roman Empire was massive, so it's probably been one of the most impactful people to ever roam the planet, leading the most people in one single legion or empire.
And he was a big fan of Stoicism.
Yeah.
And studied through all of the philosophers out of Athens and Greece at the time as well.
Which he hid. He hid being a philosopher for everyone, because Stoic philosophy is usually also about humble. Now I'm here like explaining about Stoic philosophy because for me it's really helpful. But Stoic philosophy is also about really humble, and we don't care about opinions, right? So we don't care about I don't care about what you think about me. I know I'm doing the right thing, and the right thing will get to the right results for you and for me in the end. What's good for the bee is good for the hive, and the other way around. So we're not focusing on, right? We're not focusing on opinions, and I'm not trying to take away your time to think certain things about me. So it's being really humble and keeping it to himself. That makes this little book so super powerful, and you can really use it nowadays too. The same values, like 2,500 years ago, it was written, and is it as much practically helpful today as it was then? Because we humans, we didn't change.
Going into that, what do you think modern day society can what's the word, extract? What would be the most valuable for modern day society to extract out of Stoicism in these times?
What do you think modern society needs to level up right now?
Um, yeah, getting less involved in your personal feelings and actually thinking what is good for the greater good,
Yeah,
instead of getting caught up in little itty bitty bullshit, and actually make a fair assessment of what's important,
yeah,
and then make the difficult changes to work towards that major macro change that
yeah,
we would want.
yeah. That's what Stoicism is teaching. And you, for you, what do you think society needs now to level up and
I think it's seen
become
in
better?
the work that we've been putting in is that we need to continually stop being so dissonant with the things that we commit to, and when we say we put our word to things, we truly mean it and we will follow through.
Yeah,
And that goes through agreements that we have with other people and whatever that may be, but also with yourself. If you say you're going to do something, you show up
exactly. And you be there.
and you be there.
Present.
Yeah.
And that's all these things. That's the nice thing with Stoicism. And really, if you're listening to this, research it, get into it, because it's all these things. It helps you improve on all these levels. So it's when you do something, be there with full presence. Don't go to work thinking about relationships or the conversation you're going to be having after. Be at work, then let go of work and be present with the people you surround yourself with. It's like all of these things, putting in energy, being present, doing good for others, not caring about opinions because it's external things. It's all these things of self-development it's teaching us. And it has so many similarities with Buddhism, with Christianity. A lot of philosophical philosophies have this, and religions. It's basically find how you can be your best possible self and how you can take care of others as well and be good. That's the core.
Be of service, like you guys
Be of
are.
service. Yeah, yeah.
Talking about show up, like you very carefully curate your day and your
Yeah.
routines.
Yeah.
How does show up fit into your stoic lifestyle?
Amazing. I love this. I love this question also because you asked me this morning, and some people often ask me why you're not there. My answer is often super simple: is it doesn't fit in my current routine or my current strategy of achieving things. So my only purpose here right now is to help people get to the next level through Stoicism. So my only focus is obviously on my relationship and my friends and family, but it's on getting this message out and helping people evolve in this. And now, like, SHOWUP was meeting point was 5:45 ish,
Yeah.
early. And for me, my bedtime is getting up time is
It's
7.
stopped now. It's stopped. It's about to start to come back up.
Okay, so I'm gonna show up again soon. So yeah, when sometimes these things, when you go to something, the question is, are you really going for yourself or for others? And I know the key in show up is also showing up for yourself and for others because they need you as well.
Yep.
But the world needs me in a different place and different time, so it needs me on a different routine.
I have a bit of a theory about this, and when people tell me that they can't come, I normally ask a reason. Okay, why?
Yeah.
And if they give me a reason, they're like, I have plans this morning where I'm organised my morning, and I can't get there because I'm not able to get here on time, and they're progressing or they've got things in action. I go, no problems at all. You need to do what's right for you. Glad to hear it. Best whenever you can fit, whenever you want to come. No
Yeah.
pressure whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's the times when people say, I don't know if I can wake up that early. I generally am not a morning person. That's when I'm like, I think you need to come.
You
I've
should
heard that
try
once or
it
twice,
at
yeah.
least.
Yeah.
You should try it at least.
And
Yeah.
it only takes one time for people to get hooked. Only one time.
Yeah.
Do some breath work.
Yeah.
Get that cold shock. Wake up when you get out of the water. You feel so clear. Colors are a little bit more vibrant.
But
It's the best cup of coffee in the world.
Yeah, exactly. For sure, I agree. But the nice thing is, it's not them for them to show up. The real gem is in their thought process. I am not a morning person.
Yeah, that's the big takeaway.
That sentence if that person's going to work on that sentence, he's going to change his life. Because that's the belief. He's stuck in something that has been created over time. It's maybe not his own belief. Maybe his parents have been saying to him.
Someone said it to him once.
Someone said it to him, or the parents telling to their friends when he was little, like, yeah, he's always coming out of bed late. He's not a morning person. You're stuck with that belief for life. So if you can get a grip on I am not a morning person, usually everything what I am, you can start to rechange that.
You had actually come from you a month or so ago. I can't remember if it was on an Instagram post or if something you said, but it's like, have purpose with your mornings and the rest of the day will follow.
Yeah.
Take control of it.
That was powerful.
Because if you can control your morning, then everything else throughout that day has a reason.
Yeah.
Like you're doing things for a reason for yourself or for something else.
Yeah.
But don't let your mornings go, because it's the most powerful chance to step in front.
Exactly. And it's about taking control. And that's also what Live Lab is about. I want to learn people. So this is that I am not a morning person. It's people being stuck in a belief. It's not take control. It's a victimhood. So it's about taking control and at least experimenting with it. Maybe you'll find out in the end you're not a morning person, but you've tried it all. Maybe you find different insights. So it's about taking control. And this is the question that I'm asking to myself always is, who do I want to be in the future, right? This is the thing I'm super busy with without losing my time in the present moment. But I'm always thinking about, who do I want to be tomorrow? Who do I want to be in the future? And what do I have to do today to get there? Because it's like the snowball, right? You start rolling a ball and you become that person. So I want to be someone, maybe a father that's strong, that's present, that's disciplined, that you can count on, right? He's disciplined, he's strong. So in order to become that person, I have to take control, right? So it's the question, do you want to be weak and be led by distractions, be led by social media, by scrolling on your phone? Do you want to waste your time? Or are you going to take control and actually decide how life's going to look for you? But it starts with knowing that you can decide how life's going to look for you. So taking control, like, it's one of my mottos, like in my head when I'm running, take control, take control. When I get up, take control. It's like a mantra, just take control. It's just a reminder. And if you can remind yourself to take control, yeah, you're putting yourself in a really powerful position for growth.
For some, I think for most people, if you hear that, like, be a righteous father, strong, gentle giant, like that seems like so far out in the future and such a monumental task. You've got a bunch of people that say different things. Jordan Peterson says, make your bed, start there.
It's taking control.
What would be like the first chip in the rock for you to give like people the nudge in the right direction to do? Is it making their bed? Is it just doing the bare minimum 20-minute workout? What would the first step be?
Nice question.
Apply to Life Lab.
yeah, for sure. That's what we're teaching you that. So, no, the first thing I do in the morning is make my bed. I don't walk out the room without making my bed. So it happens sometimes. It's an old habit. I walk out the room, it's like, why you're being so weak? Like, leave your stuff clean, make the bed, start strong. So it starts with that. Get up, make the bed, 1 second work. So already you're stepping into this. I'm taking control and I'm deciding how this day is going to look for me, or at least start for me. And often, if you want to make progress in any area of life can be super hectic, and especially with the people I've worked with, like multimillionaire entrepreneurs, they have so much responsibilities that once they're at work, life is super hectic, and they usually don't stop working until they fall asleep. So the moment where you can take the most control of your day and decide your life and the change you want to make in your life is usually in the morning, especially if you're showing up a little bit earlier because everyone is sleeping. So that's a powerful 2, 3, 4 hours where you can decide what you want to be doing. And if you're scrolling, 2 hours, they fly by. But if you're present and your phone is off, you could have been done a workout. You could have been reading a book, journaling about your thoughts, and cooking for 5 days. Right? So that's 2 hours, all it takes. So it's realizing that you have to be in control and wanting to take ownership of your life.
Yeah. Bang.
Yeah, taking ownership, man. That's. I want people to take ownership, and sometimes I even get a little bit. I feel a little bit of anger when I see like for example, people that are super overweight. They're on this electric scooter, drinking cola and eating chips.
That's the one of the biggest things I noticed when I got to Barcelona is that you look at the people that are riding push bikes and they're generally quite fit, look healthy, happy.
Yes.
The people that are riding the scooters or like the ride on scooters are generally overweight.
Yeah.
They look a bit angry. They're probably not dressed that well. It's take control of every situation. Don't find yourself going towards that easy option just because it is easy.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, how do I challenge myself? Is there anything else I could possibly be doing? Could I ride a bike? Could I run there? Could I get up a little bit 5-10 minutes earlier or 20 minutes earlier and go to have a quick 15-minute workout or do some push-ups or whatever it may be? There are always things you can change in life.
Yeah.
We just have to start with one person at a time and start to make the influence.
And it's so super powerful because you don't have to listen to me or to apply what I say. I don't care if you apply it to your life. I hope you do. So you don't have to listen to me. You can do your own research. Like what you're saying, go to the street and take a notebook and look at 10 people or 20 people, what they're eating and what they look like.
Yep.
Okay, you see someone snacking a bag of chips, they're overweight. You see someone snacking an apple, they're super healthy. Okay, do that 50 times. You've got a conclusion. What is a healthy snack? Right, so you can do your own research in life and decide upon that research. You can. There are clues. Success leaves clues. So analyze people that are ahead of you. Analyze. Maybe you want to be more fit. Analyze what fit people are doing. Their success, being fit, in this case, leaves the clues. What they're eating, how they're moving, and a lot of people sharing it on social media nowadays. So you can completely
It's very
copy.
easy.
You can copy everything, right? So success leaves clues in business and in life, and that's super super strong.
Got a great couple of one-liners there. Man. One's good for the bees, good for the hives. Clues. I'm liking it. Circling back to a little bit earlier, you mentioned relationships, and when I think of Stoicism, it's trying to detach yourself emotionally from a situation and look at it very rationally and analyze it. What's ABC that I do now to get the best outcome out of this situation?
Yeah.
Then you've got relationships that are very emotional. It's love, right? How do you feel? Is there any space in Stoicism for relationships? If so, how do you place Stoicism in that box, in that part of your life?
Yeah, amazing.
Because you have a beautiful partner, Jarinka,
Yeah.
who we've all met, and she comes with you to the events at SHOWUP.
She's amazing.
How does she fit into the Stoicism world with you leading the charge as well?
Yeah, amazing. Because often people, they misunderstand Stoicism. They think it's being hard, right? Or it's being distanciating yourself from things.
Yeah.
But it's distanciating yourself from things that actually don't matter, finding what matters, and giving that your fullest attention. So it's one of the kindest philosophies there is. And the main goal is to do good for others and to flourish together. So that's the main goal. But it's just like I always use this example when I'm helping people to improve. I always use this example of being in the airplane, and the airplane crashes, and there's always this advice to put on your mask first before you help others. Right? We've all been in the airplane. Put on your mask first before you help others. Right? So if maybe you're fit, maybe you're super healthy, and you know you're strong and emotionally strong, and when the airplane crashes, you can maybe help 10 people, or maybe 50 people, or maybe the whole plane, right? Because you're there and you're present. But if you're not putting on your mask on your own mouth first, you pass out by helping the second person. So now you've maybe helped 2 persons, but you could have helped maybe 50 or 100. So it's getting yourself in a position of being strong and being ready and being focused on what matters, so you can actually make the big impact. So regarding relationships, that's really something which falls in the category of that's really something that's valuable, right? That's something we need in order to flourish, to survive, to do good for others. So that's really in the core of Stoicism, is to be a good human being and a social human being. So they're always trying, how can we be more social? And that's really, really, really the core. So actually being present, focusing on yourself, being present, focusing on improving things is the most social thing, because it's helping us survive. And that's why I sometimes don't like this thought of escaping the matrix, of this group of people are peasants and they're weak and we're elite. Because when we're not working together, if we stop working together, we won't survive as a unit. And if we've done that in the past, you wouldn't even existed. So the super privileged to say that some people are below them, that formula doesn't work for them to survive. So what's good for the bee is good for the hive, and what's good for the hive is good for the bee, what we just said. If he distantiates himself from the hive, he will die, and the hive will die, right? So you need this relationships in order to flourish, to survive.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Like that's, I think, one of the big draws to SHOWUP. Like it's a new type of community here in Barcelona, which wasn't there previously, or maybe it wasn't not that scale or whatever. But people really crave being together, and the hugs at the end is such a push in the back to go meet new people. Like you're all here for the same motives.
Yeah.
You're all here. Go meet each
But
other.
also
Go.
to help each other flourish, to be
That's
able
the
to
key. Yeah.
to be able to lift everyone up at the same time.
Yeah.
And we're all in it together. So show, like you said before, show kindness and presence with everyone.
Yeah.
And then utilize that in your life and go forth.
I like the hugs we're doing after the qigong. You know, how do you call it? Qigong. Qigong. I like the hugs we're doing because we're all the same. We're the same species. We're the same thing basically. So why differentiate from yourself, right? You are me and I'm you in that sense.
Yeah.
So I like the hug. I like being present, and I like doing it. And especially for people, you need 5 show-ups in order to be able to go into an ice bath alone. Right?
For sure.
Most people need 5 show-ups. Some need 2, some need 10.
Depends if you come in the winter or the summer.
Yeah. It's fun seeing the people coming now and posting like cold plunge. It's not a cold plunge anymore.
We had a moment last week, Hendrik and I have spoken about this at length, where we had a lot of people standing up and taking photos before the breathwork had finished. So we made a very good point of it today. So
nice.
Do not stand up.
Yeah.
Stay present in the moment.
Yeah.
And you're here for your own reasons. I get that.
Yeah.
But at least have the presence to be settled and sit there and don't disturb everybody else.
Yeah, that's powerful. And also that is a fine line, because when you ask the question like, what are you here for yourself or for others? If you're just doing it for Instagram, you're not there for yourself. But also that's a fine line, because your purpose could also be to inspire through others through Instagram. So there's also a ripple effect to doing that. But so everything has 2 sides. That's also a key thing in Stoicism. You will never know the truth. So everything has multiple sides and perspectives. So focus on your own perspective, do what's right. But that's super strong.
I do have a question back to Eden originally, but he says all the time, because I talk to him about Stoicism often.
Yeah.
He says he has a theory of doing as much hard stuff or hard shit as you possibly can, so that everything else can be easier. And I've taken that philosophy. We have it with SHOWUP. It's like, we're doing this in the winter,
I like
in
that.
the cold, in the rain, in the wind. It doesn't matter. You show up, you go.
Yeah.
And then taking that also away from just show up and going into the water and freezing and then pushing through and then having that as your first hard thing for the day. But also when you're working out.
Yeah.
Or when you're at work and there's jobs that you don't particularly want to do the hard shit first.
Yeah.
And all of the easy stuff will become, not only because it is easier, but it will you'll get it done faster and you'll be more productive.
Yeah.
So a lot of times in life, people put all of their hard things away in a corner and say, I'll get to that eventually.
Yeah.
Like let's wipe that slate clean. Start from the top and make your way down.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is the same as Stoicism.
Same, and I'm doing the same as well, because you have to realize that taking the easy road is in the end going to be the hardest. Mm-hmm. And that sounds so weird, like taking all the easy road, not working out, doing whatever you feel like doing in that moment, and just taking the easy road it will eventually make you less of a human being, less powerful, less strong, less healthy, less present. So the results, the byproducts you're getting from taking the easy road, from just taking whatever you feel like at that moment, is way more painful. So it's realizing that it's learning to build discipline, to be able to put in effort on things that have delayed gratification, because there's like where the real fruits are. And yeah, it's super powerful. So when you look at like what we said, success leaves clues, you look at successful people and you look at what they're doing. Let's say fit people as an example. They're working out, they're eating healthy. It's not something when you do it once, you get instant results. You eat a salad and you go for a run, you're not seeing any differences. It needs time. It doesn't say it's not working. So you have to at least know that it's possible. Start at the beginning, know it's possible, find the steps to take, and then it's doing the hardest shit. And I want also the hardest shit, so above average level for myself and for my clients, to be our baseline. So when stuff happens, other people perceive as this is crazy, or it's super bad that things are happening. It's our everyday job. Look at the people in like military and Navy SEALs. They're training because you always fall back to your level of training. You fall back to your level of experience. So when things actually get hard, that's your basic programming. And that's also what Eden is doing. It's like my basic programming should be on above average level, and therefore I will always achieve greatness. So it's about leveling up that baseline.
What are some of the main obstacles or struggles that you deal with? What's the hardest thing for you to do?
What has been the hardest thing for you to deal with?
Oh, many things. Like I'm also releasing a video this week where I talk about my story. And I was thinking about my story, and then I thought like I've only put like 2 or 3 things in there, 2 or 3 obstacles. And I think I've achieved quite many. But some of the obstacles I've experienced is my father leaving the family on quite an early age. And that has been super hard for me for like, for just growing up as a man without having a father figure in your life. He moved to China, so that has been quite heavy, which I've quite recently, like the past years, find a way to really deal with, which I couldn't when I was younger and not so conscious. It was just a pain. So just that was one of the obstacles, being fat and overweight and a bit bullied, breaking both my legs, losing 20 kilograms, breaking both my legs, not being able to move for like 11 months. Again, back to the same place. Again, 25 kilos heavier.
It didn't happen squatting 270 kilos, did it?
No. It happened on a trampoline, doing a backflip, trying cool stuff. So that's some things, that's some sort of depression that I had for 1.5 years. My apartment burned down 1.5 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
I couldn't live in it for 5.5 months. It was a very insecure period. It was my best period in life, with best period in business, personal, because I focused on what is in my control. The fire is something external. It's just an event that's happening, that the house is no longer there. What is in my control? Waking up, eating healthy, working out, calling clients, showing up. Instead of being stuck in this story that the fire is the worst thing that's happened to me, and therefore I cannot work, and therefore I cannot work out, because I'm not focused. And that's what a lot of people are doing. They're stuck in their own thought patterns. So once you can get control of the thought pattern, you can get control of the outcome. So these are some of the obstacles I've experienced, and I can't come up with more, but they're probably more. Like
it's a good start.
It's a good start. Moving 12 times something, different countries, different places, financial insecurities, not a really, maybe a little bit poor upbringing, just some things. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite failure or favorite obstacle?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Yes, the fire.
Come on, then.
I was so excited about the fire. Like, I was so excited about the fire from the moment I got the call. So I was having dinner. A friend of mine was
It's a pyromaniac, right?
Yeah, it sounds weird when you hear it at first, being excited about your house burning down. But once you get like what's behind there, is
in someone's mind's like headspace of someone like yourself,
Yeah.
that thrives with opportunity of hardship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can see you being like, I'm going to handle this.
Exactly.
I've got control.
Exactly. So if you're not getting hardships, you're never truly capable of experiencing of who you can becoming. And we're striving. I'm trying to become more. So I need hardships. So it's having this philosophy of Not hardships are bad, no, they're just neutral, and my opinion decides what they are. To the next level is I can learn from hardships. To the next level is that's a master level in Stoicism, is I enjoy hardships because it's forming the person I'm destined to become. So it's that end level of dealing with having acceptance and dealing with obstacles. So I was having dinner with 7 friends, and then I got a call from my friend. He was like with a friend on the opposite side of the street. So he saw my house. He saw my house being on fire. So he instantly called me. He was super stressed. Also, a funny thing, he being stressed about something completely external for him. Obviously, he cares about me. But I took up the phone. Said, okay, I'll go and check it out. Yeah, it's not much more I can do, like 15-minute walk, go there. So on the way, I called my girlfriend, relax. And I was excited for the challenge. The girls I was having dinner with were completely freaking out. And that's also really nice, freaking out for me. And I was not, when it was about me. So then it was just thinking like, what can I learn from this? And I really saw it as a challenge to test how to perform under pressure, how to perform without having a house, how to perform without having your stuff. Where are you going to sleep? You don't know. What's your environment going to be like? Can I still thrive when all I'm used to is not there? Yeah, let's focus on input, action. So that was my biggest obstacle as a most fan of. And then the byproduct, because we believe you need the obstacle to turn into something else. And because of this fire, I started teaching Stoicism. And now it's my life mission to teach Stoicism. Without that fire, I probably wouldn't have taken that path, because I was just optimizing routines and just helping people with working out and eating healthier and doing a little bit biohacking and improving sleep. But my true passion was Stoicism. Had the fire not happened, was I not sitting here today with us talking about
Literally, if
Stoicism?
the fire wasn't lit.
If the fire wasn't lit, yeah. So, but you're the person that decides to turn something into something else. That's ownership.
That was your washing up naked into Athens.
It was me washing up naked into Athens. Yeah.
He
I love
walked
that,
over
comparison.
with a torch, and he took the flame with him.
Yeah.
And now you straddle the flame and you walk through the fog.
Yeah.
Plot
So now
twist, he lit his own house on fire.
I put my own house on fire. Yeah. But now I'm
need a
so
setback.
grateful.
Don't tell
right?
don't tell the Dutch.
Don't tell the insurance company. No, no.
Don't tell, because they paid not everything, at least half of all the stuff. Yeah. So, but now I'm so grateful for the fire, because now I can truly. That's how you also find your purpose, right? You have to experience hardships. You have to experience being alive and actually playing the game of life. And if you're avoiding the game of life, how can you level up in that game, or how can you even want a different life if you're avoiding taking the necessary steps? So it's playing this game of life.
So bringing it back to allowing people to be able to start to do 5 cold swims at SHOWUP as a way to be able to start to then think about getting into an ice bath.
Yeah.
Or allowing that process to occur. What would be some tips for people who haven't particularly got that urge to be able to go and do the hard things they want to, but they're scared?
Yeah.
What would be the first thing to be able to do to get them through that? Say an ice bath, for instance.
Ice bath is one of the best examples of how you're shaping your own reality. Like, analyze the thoughts. Why are you scared? And I've done many ice baths, really cold ones, also minus 13 ice, and also I've guided some people in doing an ice bath. And I analyze what they are saying. I cannot do this. The cold will kill me. I will never recover from this. It will do damage to my body. All these excuses, all these things that are factually not even true, are formed by themselves. Whereas before we started, or in the beginning of you started, said, this is my best cup of morning coffee.
Yeah. 100%.
Going in this bath is the best type of morning coffee there is.
100%.
So there's one person on the other side of the spectrum saying, the cold will kill me. And it's you saying, this is the best cup of coffee I need to get my day started. The event is in the middle, and the event is the same for everyone, right? So it's the thought that creates your reality. So get grip over your thoughts, get a hold on your thoughts. And now we're discussing ice bath, but it's everything: relationships, money, work, everything starts there. So this is something that it's such a big interest of mine is the ice bath is just there. And the ice bath is, in that sense, meaningless, or not meaningless, it's neutral, right? So the event is neutral, and that's what we learn in Stoicism. External things are neutral, and we're the ones deciding what they are, right? So the event is neutral, but there's two different people that experience the same event in a totally different way. And that's something in psychology that's what really interests me. And that's where you change behavior. Get that people to believe in the event being a cup of coffee, and they go in without a hesitation. The event didn't change. So it's your perception of the event. The person changed, the event is still the same. And that's so fascinating for me.
So when you describe that transition of changing or getting a grip on your thoughts, I guess the first step is you actually being conscious and noticing them. But then how can you, what are certain questions that you can ask yourself to start viewing that same neutral event differently, to go from that side to this side?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and there's often there's multiple ways to get there. Listening to this conversation and hearing that thing should probably interest you and excite you to check how you're doing this yourself and to analyze your own thoughts. But the Stoics say, what is it truly? We also make like mistakes, or we get out of our Stoic role, or I also have my non-Stoic moments, and I get caught up in something, and what is it truly? And what is my opinion about it, right? So it's creating this habit of analyzing, and analyzing can be done in multiple ways. It's asking questions of what is it truly, or journaling about your thoughts, or why couldn't I get into the water? What was holding me back? What is holding me back from working out today? What is holding me back from going in the water? Thoughts. Okay, you can leave it there and be the same person, or dive deeper. What thoughts? Are they true? What are they really? What are Jake's thoughts about going into water? Right? So that's how you start to create change. It's analyzing your own thought process.
And how you can change them.
Yeah. And not
Because
everyone wants to.
Yeah.
But if you feel there's more to get out of your life, and you see Jake doing these qigong and ice baths, and you see me working out, and you want that too, so then you already know it's possible.
Yeah.
Then it's analyzing your own thought process.
Like, why can't I do this? What are the blockages in front of me? Like,
Yeah.
I can't do that because I can't get up that early. I can't get in there because it's too cold.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then so it's, what is it truly? And then a nice follow-up question, Stoic follow-up question is it essential? Because often we try to go somewhere and we do so many inessential things. So it's also about getting rid of all the inessential things to get there. So that's powerful.
I want to ask you, like, what's been your favorite transformation through Life Lab? That you're like, oh, a person went from A all the way to Z.
Oh man, one person went from A to Z and beyond, right? And that was for me, like, sometimes you need real-time feedback to know, like, hey man, it's working. It worked for me. So this person, he was, I'm not gonna go into too many, I cannot share his personal details, but he was not, he had no habits. He was always eating. He was overweight. He was making about 10K a month. He wanted to scale this up, make more money, e-commerce entrepreneur. He couldn't sleep. He was never sleeping in the bed. So he was always falling asleep on the couch. Because why? He was working all day, and then when he started to lay in bed, his thoughts started racing. So he was just watching TV, eating junk food, drinking 1 bottle of wine a day, and then he would fall asleep on the couch. So he was super unhealthy. Unhealthy thoughts, it's a cycle, right? So we went from that to someone that was fit, right? Doing handstands, sleeping in the bed 7.5, 8 hours a night, not drinking alcohol, not eating junk food, inspiring other people to change their habits, change their beliefs, level up in life, running, lifting weights, making more money, 20, 30K a month. It's a side effect. Money is often a side effect of the work you put into on the total spectrum of life. So he made this transformation, and what was most interesting to me is when we started working, he didn't believe himself he could do it. I got him to believe first, by also seeing some small changes, seeing some small results. And once we got that momentum, once we got him going, taking that first step, go outside, take a 5-minute walk now. Do it again tomorrow, make it 6 minutes. Once you believe you can take that walk, that's where you can make the big leap. So for me, it was taking someone that doesn't believe he can change, someone is stuck, to being like this super high performer that's even helping other people to change. Mm-hmm. It's like the ultimate goal. That was like, holy fuck, man, it's working and it's powerful. And yeah, and then they go without me and they just live life. It was like 1.5 years ago.
And they
Now he's
continue
still-
on that path.
Yeah, and my clients, the thing is, they don't fail and they don't fall back. And that's super interesting, because why do they don't fall back? Because they don't want to be the old person anymore. Not even they want to be, they don't associate themselves with their older self. Like,
That's powerful.
I'm not a smoker, right? I don't smoke. Occasional cigar. I don't see that as smoking, but smoking cigarettes, right? I don't smoke. So smoking cigarettes is not in my pattern of behavior, right? It would completely be misaligned with how I view myself. So if a smoker views himself as a smoker, can stop seeing himself as a smoker, the behavior will disappear. Mm-hmm. So it's creating this new self, and that's why my clients don't fail and they never fall back, is because you've created a new self and they don't recognize themselves in the older version. It's not beneficial. They look at it like a completely different person. They will never fall back into that behavior. And maybe they will once fall back in that behavior, but then we've trained them to discover the rock bottom. What is the rock bottom and how can I use this to level up? And that was the thing they weren't doing before. So failing then becomes a good thing. And it becomes like a jump for more growth.
I'll ask a very selfish question, because I'm generally a bad sleeper, and it's gotten better over the years.
Yeah.
I think sleep apnea runs a little bit in the family, so I guess there's things that you can do for that.
Yeah.
What's a good way to start
Taking
extreme ownership of your sleep?
Yeah.
Just I'm going to add a little bit of a backstory to this. We had SHOWUP this morning.
Yeah.
And Hendrik
He told me.
did not
Crazy.
sleep last night.
Crazy.
And stayed up and worked the whole way through, and then had a coffee just studying Stoicism.
Yeah.
So like kudos. But
Amazing.
he made it to SHOWUP, did the swim, went home, and he's had an hour and a half, and now he's here delivering.
And
I'm only
really,
hallucinating in the background. It's fine. I can still
Yeah.
interact with you guys.
and other people are not experiencing when do I start hallucinating? What are my limits? You're actually doing that. So massive, like congrats for being here, doing this podcast after being awake for like 2 days.
Showing up.
Showing up, bro, that's ownership in a way. So already that's something I love to see. I love seeing. Regarding your sleep, I'm generally a bad sleeper. I am, again, a belief. Sleep apnea runs in the family.
Yeah, you're right.
And this belief is an old belief because it runs in the family. I've got it. It runs in it. It's on our DNA. Our whole family. Yeah, it's an old belief from maybe like 2-3 generations away. You're still carrying that belief. But the thing is, you're choosing until today to carry that belief. So when we walk out after this podcast, you can choose to leave that belief here and at least explore.
He's so right.
Yeah, you're the one holding on to the belief. I'm not holding on to it for you, right?
Yeah.
You're consciously choosing, I am keeping this belief. I'm keeping this identity. So now, after this talk, you can choose right now in this moment, I'm letting go of the belief. I'm letting go of the belief of my parents, grandparents, whatever. I'm going to explore for myself. And now we're going to change things. And that's another fascinating part, because sleep, oh man, many of my clients, they have sleep problems. We turn them into super sleepers, because sleep is something you have so much control over. You think it's just laying in bed and there's no sleep, or there's so many chemicals involved and there's so many processes involved that you can influence. So we can do a whole podcast, 1.5 hour, 2 hours.
But we should do another one on sleep.
And I'm a big nerd on sleep. I've read almost all the research. We can do like a live podcast from the person you are now, improving, asking about your day-to-day routine and the things you're doing, changing what you're doing. Success leave clues, change the ingredients into the formula, you get a different result, right? It's changing what you're doing. Maybe your caffeine intake is too late on the day. Maybe you're watching too many blue light too late on the day. Maybe your food schedule's off. You're drinking right before bed. Maybe you're taking other stimulants. Maybe
Water?
water.
Too much water before
I
bed.
drink a lot of water before bed.
There you go. What time you wake up generally?
Um,
3:30, in between 3:30 and 4:30?
Yeah. Yeah, I always wake up. If CBD oil helps a lot, though. I've noticed that.
Yeah,
if
but-
I take CBD oil, then
Yeah.
my
I'm-
sleep's a lot more.
He's
it's
talking
just a
about
block.
naturally taking things out so that your sleep will return.
And the
to a
CBD
normal
is not ownership, because you're taking a paracetamol to cure something. You're trying to cure something that's already there. So we're not. I always try to change people without anything, right? No CBD, no things that calm you down. It's the easy way. It's still not taking ownership. Still doing the same shitty things. I take the CBD and I can finally sleep. Is it a solution? No. Now you've become dependent on taking CBD to rest.
So when you said blue light, my brain immediately went to, buy some blue light glasses. No, it's just get off your screens.
Put
Yeah,
Put,
get off your
put
screens.
the phone down past 10, 9:30, 10 o'clock. Realistically, most people in Spain won't go to sleep until like 11 o'clock, 11:30 probably. That's just how the society runs over here.
Yeah.
Here
Yeah,
specifically, turn the phone off.
yeah. There's many. Yeah, it takes an hour to cover all the things, but I don't know how much time we have left. But regarding,
An hour and 20.
It's 2:02.
okay,
How tight on time?
We've got 10 minutes.
Okay.
okay, cool, man. So 10-minute quick rundown on improving sleep.
8,
right?
because I've got one question that I
Okay, cool.
really wanna ask.
Let's get into it. So, what do you want to do when you're in bed? Digest food and let the bladder get rid of the water, or rest the brain, repair the body? Okay, question answered. We want to rest the brain, repair the body. Okay, so it needs to be free of distractions. So the bladder stops working at around 10:30, depending on your scheme. It starts working about 3:30, 4:30 again. It gets less active. If you put a lot of water into the bladder, it will be active during the night. Same with food. So stop a couple of hours before going to bed with drinking. So drink more during the day from the moment you get up, and generally lower the input. So generally after dinner, I take 1 or 2 big glasses of water, and then I have just 1/2 a glass of water to take like creatine and brush teeth.
What time do you eat dinner?
Depends, usually 7, 8, and go to bed like 10, 10:30, 11. So there's like 3 hours, at least I want there. So 3 hours with food, otherwise your body will be busy digesting the food. And also less water intake in the evening. So now you're not waking up between 3:30 and 4:30 again. So that's one big, massive change, or that's already going to make a massive change for you. Then there's caffeine intake. General rule of thumb for me is between around 12 I'm going to have my last caffeine intake of any sort. So it could be coffee, could be other caffeine, things that contain caffeine. Sometimes take it up to 2, but generally like at 12 to 2 is the
max.
The maximum. And then on Sunday or Saturday, I don't really care about that one night of sleep. Might have that 4 o'clock Saturday coffee with the boys in the sun.
Yep.
Right? So that's a rule of thumb for throughout the week. No caffeine after 12 or 1. Then blue light, you need to make melatonin in order to fall asleep. Melatonin production happens when there's no light. So you're basically, by using screen, you're living an artificial life. It would be on a remote island. If you want to improve your sleep, compare your life to living on a remote island without anything. There will be a natural cycle. Sun rises, temperature rises, will wake us up. Often through the eyes, light and temperature will wake us up. When do we fall asleep? When the sun sets and there's no light, different chemicals in the body start to create melatonin.
Just quickly on that. So it's with the blue light in the mornings increases cortisol and it decreases melatonin production.
Yeah.
But it also allows it to be able to, so at night, so when cortisol goes up, decreasing melatonin. At the end of the day, if you add in blue light again, it will decrease melatonin. But if you take that away and you watch the sunset, it can decrease the cortisol release or optimally.
And serotonin.
And serotonin, and it will increase the melatonin release in the body.
Yeah. And you can go super deep on this, but the main thing you want to remember if you're new to this, light makes you active and darkness makes you tired. So mimic the outside world if you want to sleep better. You look outside while you're working and you have all these bright lights on and you have this, you're still in your working brain. So the brain is also busy, also a big part of it. But now we're thinking about chemicals and hormones. Look outside. Whoa, it's super dark. Sun's been set for hours. What environment am I in? Like it's light, there's light. My body, my clock thinks it's 11 in the morning, doesn't want to go to sleep. So you have to change your behavior in using light, using screens. And then obviously there's also the brain. If you just stop working and you go to bed instantly, your mind is racing. You need hours, not minutes. You need hours to wind down and decompress and relax. And maybe it involves some breath work. Maybe it involves calming the nervous system.
Reading.
Yeah.
Reading, breathing, writing, going for a walk, everything analog without screens. So these are some tips, like screens and blue light.
Throw your TV out. You don't need it.
Throw your TV out. Yeah, and then there's many things disrupting the cycles while you're in bed. That's noise, that's temperature. How clean is your room? Are there any standby lights in your alarm clock or maybe your television? Are there any electronics that are disrupting your sleep pattern? Is there food in the body, fluids in the body, and how much? All these things disrupt these cycles. So if you view at sleep as preparing for a cycle. So today, I came here and I prepared for this cycle. I made sure the cycle, the podcast is my cycle. I got here, what do I need to be successful in this podcast? Active, sharp, present. I prepare for the cycle. How do I do it? I work out. I drink. I watch the things I eat. I come here well prepared to perform at the cycle. But after this, I do some more work, and then I start preparing the next cycle. And my next job is a good night of sleep. And I start to prepare that cycle. I want to be successful in that cycle tonight. So what do? I watch my caffeine. Wanted to get another cup of coffee before we started, but I didn't. For tonight, preparing already for the next cycle. So I'm preparing for this next cycle, taking ownership to make that as most successful as possible. And then when you wake up, there's again your next cycle, which is the morning. So it's viewing at something that's not a byproduct, but the driver of your success. Sleep is our foundation. It needs all your attention. It's where we're starting with every client. After some analyzing of the thoughts, improve sleep.
I don't know how tight we are on time here. When did you say that you needed to bounce?
I have a meeting at 3.
Okay.
I have a little bit of time.
So
10 minutes, 20 minutes.
when I was on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
and we mentioned monk mode all the way in the beginning here.
Yeah.
There's a guy called, well, I saw on your LinkedIn endorsements, you've got about 20. 2 of them are by a guy called Iman Gadzi.
He's a legend.
And he also preaches monk mode and also preaches Stoicism.
Yeah.
How in the world did Iman Gadzi endorse you on LinkedIn? What's the story behind that, bro? Because when I saw that, I was like, I'm definitely going to ask him about that. That's a curveball.
Yeah. People often ask me also, like, how do you meet with these people? I think it's focusing on yourself, and these people want to meet people that actually make things work. So it's not people that talk but do. So that's how you meet also more interesting people, is put in the work, and people will recognize people who put in the work and surround themselves with people who put in the work regarding of their financial statements or whatever. But anyway, to get to your question, I met Iman before he was successful. So that's a funny story. We have a mutual friend in the Netherlands, and Iman was staying at his house. I think because he couldn't pay renting his own place in the Netherlands. So we were building a website for our wider business, and Iman was also there. So it was, met him there, and we had some chats over the time, not much, just some short touch points, and that's, I think, how he wrote the endorsement, which I didn't ask for. So, Iman, appreciate it. We'll meet again soon.
That's so sick.
He's a legend, by the way, man. If you want to improve your life, you don't know him?
No, I'll look him up after this.
Look him up, man. He is helping so many young people change their lives, and he's helping so many young people become better and show them what's possible in their life. And massive appreciation for all the people that do that. And Iman is really doing it on one of the biggest scales of our century.
Yeah.
So
fantastic role model.
massive
So
for me as well.
Iman Gadzi. Is that correct?
Yeah, check it
That's
out.
his name. who else can people follow if they're interested to be able to deepen their knowledge? Obviously yourself. What's your Instagram handle?
Bas Bults, BASBULTS. Same on YouTube. We'll be posting a lot of content this year. We're gonna make 100 videos on Stoicism and high performance, free. Will be on YouTube. But for the rest, people, like a guy I had dinner with as well, which is always a bit of a public figure right now, is Luc Belmar. He's also a bit of a friend of mine, and I think he also really teaches people to think for themselves. And I think a key is you might not always have to believe in their beliefs or everything what they're saying. Like I said as well, you don't have to trust me on my words. If I can get you to do your own research, and Luke is doing the same thing, he's showing people what's possible, and he's telling people, think for yourself and experiment with your thoughts, with your success, with your life. Don't just follow a random path. Don't just sail without a destination, right? So massive. I really appreciate Luke for telling that to younger people as well. And we had a nice talk with a cigar here in a lounge in Barcelona and a dinner. So Luke, I really recommend checking out Luc Belmar. For the rest, a massive inspiration for me is always Ross Atchley. I don't know if you know Ross Atchley. He swam around Great Britain without going to coast.
Another beast.
Another beast. It took him 155, 156 days.
He attempted it again recently, and I think he got hypothermia. Didn't make it.
He attempted the longest open water lake swim. It was like 12 degrees, so it's a cold dip in January.
Yeah.
And he's doing like 70, 80, 90 hours without sleeping, without stopping.
It was in the Loch Ness. Yeah.
Correct.
Swimming
He got
with
taken
the
out
Loch Ness monster.
by healthcare.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would die. So it's Ross also is.
It has like incredible like burns all over his neck from from the wetsuit swimming.
Yeah.
It was like he's an absolute machine.
Yeah.
Definitely check him out.
And he's applying Stoicism.
Yeah.
And psychology and sports performance to get it done, to get the mind in a state where you can just like keep swimming for 70 hours. And we do like 10 minutes.
Uses science behind the backing behind Stoicism. It's like a great mix as well.
Yeah. So we have Iman Gatsi, we have Luc Belmar, we have Ross Atchley. Not many people that I talk to know him. He has a great book, The Art of Resilience, where he talks about swimming around Great Britain. You should read it. It's massive. Obviously, if you want to be harder, like David Goggins, I love Grant Cardone for the way he looks at family and money and building wealth. So these are some people I love. But the thing is, and Marcus Aurelius, and the thing is, and this might sound weird, I talk with these people on a daily basis while they're not there. I don't talk with them. I talk with them in my head. I've created a board of advisors of one of the most inspirational people there are in my head, right? How do you do this? You study these people. You learn how they think. You learn the success that the clues that the success they leave, right? So you learn how they think, how they would handle situations, how they would do anything. Also, Nick Bear is another super interesting one as well. And then once you've gathered all this information in your head, an event might happen, and I've got an instant response to that event, but I can think, how would Ross Atchley, what would he do? How would Luke or Iman, what would he do with this event, right? Or what would Grant Cardone do with this event? So now I've got this board of advisors about my life, super selfish, board of advisors in my head, and I can ask for insights. I can ask for help, right? And that's something, like, you don't just want to look at people every now and then. You want to study, pick 5, try to find everything there is online about them, and that's where you're going to find growth. So don't read 100 books, pick 2, 3 authors, read everything. Pick 5 role models, learn everything, right? Be obsessed with the things they've achieved.
And create your own board of advisors.
Yeah. And if you want to do it the other way around, what is it I want to learn? What is it I'm weak at? What is it I'm not good at? Who's done it the best way possible? Let's study these people and copy what they've done. And we've been doing the same things as humans for tens of thousands of who knows for how long. We're still the same humans doing the same things. So there's no new things. It's just...
Mimicry is the greatest form of flattery.
Yeah.
You can stand on top of the shoulders of giants.
Yeah, but
And they've
everything got their own sauce because everyone's DNA is unique. where no one on earth is the same. So nothing is the same. You've got your own experiences, your own DNA, your own upbringing, your own input, your own beliefs, your own story. So there's nothing, everything's always unique. So always also try to make it unique. Don't just copy it. It's not a, a call to just copy something.
Give it your own
Be
flavor.
unique. Yeah.
Give it a bit of touch.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I think that's a great gem to end the third episode on.
Man, we've been covering a lot, like sleep,
that was
stoicism, getting grip of your thoughts, how to grow in life, how to find mentors, how to study people. Man, I wish I had this podcast 5 years ago.
Well, they will have it now.
Yeah. So send it to a friend also.
Yeah, do so. So we have Bas Bults on Instagram. You can find him at the Life Lab with your coaching and advising or guiding program.
Yeah, it's lifelab.education if you want to have a look at the website.
Yeah.
We're building like a modern school of life. Like philosophy, Stoic philosophy used to be taught for free at just this building called the Agora, these nice Greek buildings. There will be many in Athens, and you could just walk in and hear people talk about life and self-improvement. And now you have to pay so much money to get like a good study or whatever. So we're trying to create a cheap platform, school of life, where we put in all this value. And you can look it up, try it out for a month, lifelab.education. You can find it there. We do events, we do expert Zoom sessions, we have a full course in there. And then I'm sharing on YouTube and Instagram like daily, just getting...
We'll put the Life Lab link in our link.
Put all the links on screen in the bios. Yeah, for sure.
Nice, man.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
thank you
it.
very much for
Very
your time.
insightful. A couple of tips, things to work on. Myself and Hendrik's going to sleep well tonight.
Nice, man. Yeah, you're gonna definitely... Are you gonna
Sleep like a
behind?
baby. Yes.
In this chair, this chair is gonna be your old belief.
Thank you very much.
Nice, man.
That's
For your time,
Thank you very
Bas.
much for having me. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.